Mr. Hunt. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. My name is Jonathan Hunt. I'm the president of Amalgamated Transit, Local 757. I'm joined today by Jonathan Ostar of Opal and Michael Levine of Portland Disabilities and Advocates. Opal and PDA and Amalgamated Transit Union jointly call on the Trimet Board of Directors to act responsibly and to act now and to bring elderly and disabled transportation services in-house. The move will not only result in improved services, but will save transit agents, the taxpayers, over $7 million. This move will also keep the money into local communities rather than seeing it going to multinational companies abroad. Trimet and the union agreed to do an audit to determine if it was cost-effective for Trimet to operate the lift services themselves rather than to contract with private companies. The audit was completed in 2008 and was based on Trimet's 2004 budget. The audit concluded that Trimet brought the services in-house with a status quo contracting wages and benefits. They would save taxpayers over $3.6 million. Those savings were based on 2004 budget. By simply adjusting the savings, increasing by the amount Trimet has increased their revenue contracts with private for-profit contractors, that savings today to taxpayers would easily exceed $7 million. Should anyone disagree with those numbers, just plug in the budget numbers from 2005 through 2011. We find it hard to believe that Trimet continually talks about fare increases and the 2013 projected budget shortfalls and ignores the immediate savings of more than $7 million it could achieve by bringing paratransit services in-house. Rather, the current general manager of Trimet wants to argue about the scope of the audit, which he had no part of. The Trimet general manager and his leadership staff in 2008 had to agree and sign off on the perimeters of the audit. In fact, Trimet's CFO personally participated in directing and approving the audit procedures. Remember, these are Trimet numbers. Trimet provided the information which the audit was conducted. No matter how badly Trimet management would like this to go away, the numbers, their numbers, don't lie. I provided each of you with a copy of the 2008 lift audit prepared by Luca & Associates Certified Public Accountants. If you'd please turn to page 3 of the audit and look at the summary analysis. The audit found that Trimet was performing paratransit operations in-house in 2004 using the same collective bargaining agreement, wages, benefits, and working conditions of the private contractor, not Trimet wages and benefits. Trimet could perform the services for $3.6 million less than they would pay private contractors in 2004. I'll finish it up briefly. No one is suggesting that paratransit be brought in-house and performed by current Trimet employees, or to be paid by Trimet employees' wages and benefits. Any changes to the wages, benefits are subject to the collective bargaining agreement, just like it's done now with the private for-profit contractors that the union currently negotiates with. We believe that Trimet management is misleading taxpayers into believing that it would be additional cost to bring paratransit in-house. Bringing paratransit operations in-house today at the current rate of pay, benefits, and working conditions, saving the taxpayers over $7 million. Doing this now will lower Trimet's projected 2013 budget shortfalls in half. Trimet will not have to increase paratransit fares for the most vulnerable citizens. There would be more profit to be made there would be no more profit to be made by the multinational company to suck out of our communities and send overseas. And the services provided would be more efficient and cost-effective. It is time to stop the lip service. I'm wrapping up. Provided a more efficient, cost-effective service to our citizens who rely on public transportation every day. This is a necessity that they need every single day. And we've seen time and time again when we push people onto mass transit that have disabilities, this is going to create more time on it. The general manager spoke recently about some tragedies that took place, but failed to mention that we just had one of our own operators die on the job. And we're not taking a look at how our schedules are built, and by moving more people into off of lift onto fixed route is going to take a system that is already overburdened and not allowing the people to have decent restroom breaks and meal breaks, and is going to continue to burden the system and affect the most vulnerable citizens out there. Thank you for your time, and I'll take any questions you may have.
We actually have submitted to the board and passed the review of the numbers, and we actually estimate that the cost swings the other way, $7 to $14 million. I would also note that these lift employees became Trimet employees. They would be subject to the same strike prohibitive status as the rest of the Trimet workforce, and as we know, that has not exactly produced a timely contract resolution, that process. So what I would note is that there are a lot of perhaps, and we can make it very clear what the difference of opinion and difference of assumptions about that is. Yeah. But I would note that many of the board members have seen that response, and we will be happy to summarize it in another and update the numbers according to your request.
Great, thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, I must add, and I want to make sure it's on the record correctly, is the general manager suggesting that binding arbitration is not the most reasonable way, and he's continually to taunt and do these anti-union issues and requesting that this group does a strike. Last month when I spoke, part of the issue I stated was, you're right, we are in the middle. We have had a strike vote and is ready to go out anytime. And the general manager, I believe is what I just heard, I just want to make sure I got it correct, that he's saying he would rather have our system shut down to the most vulnerable than figuring out a way that we can bring them in-house. Clearly there's a difference of opinion on the numbers. It sounds like our numbers people should take a look at it, go back to the audit firm, and have a new analysis. And let's get this figured out once and for all. Is Mr. McFarland's numbers wrong, or is our numbers wrong? Because we use their numbers and we agree to their process.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments. And I didn't hear that from the general manager. But what you're hearing here is this board would like to have, at least a couple of members here would like to have some more detailed information to understand the numbers. I thank you for bringing it to our attention.
I appreciate it. And final words, I have always been willing to sit down and to finish and negotiate this contract. And the binding arbitration works. The problem is Trimet keeps losing and they don't like the decision.
Thank you very much.
If they don't break the law, then they won't have to worry about it.
Thank you
very much.
We're going to move on. All right.
I will keep my comments brief. What I would like to briefly talk about, Tiffany, see how this gets me there, is the health of our operators. And although if you ask Trimet what one of the major costs associated with labor is health insurance. So one of our number one issues has had little to no conversations about. We have two healthcare providers that we currently use and have used for over 20 years, Blue Cross and Kaiser. We spend millions of dollars for Mercer Corporation, and I ask for what? We don't get any value out of it. I've asked repeatedly through my tenure to have wellness programs, health fairs, and it's fell on deaf ears. This is not my first trip to the rodeo. I negotiate contracts all the time. In Lane Transit, we created a wellness program that brought the union and management together that talked about those driving costs. The cost of health insurance is going up. What are we doing to make people healthier? We're looking at the schedules. We're still not having enough time to go to point A to point B. The recovery time is being eaten up, and our operators are not getting the necessary time to even have the option to have a healthy break and meal. It's unfortunate, and we continue to see the effects as our members continue to grow. They grow in size. Type 2 diabetes is within our industry dramatically. But we're doing absolutely nothing to fix it. And it's just ironic that here we are with this huge budget problem. Here we are with all of these huge costs, but nothing has been done. I mean, literally, we have had none. So our operators are susceptible to illnesses. Every day as I'm fighting my cold, and everybody else that's in this industry, as they board the bus, they are getting that information to our operators. We use our health insurance more. The statistics that came out show that operators or more likely to die earlier in life because of their job. Some of us are still in this world that, hey, driving a bus is really not that big a deal. The amount of stress that's put on an operator, driving their route, going through the call annunciations. By the way, you're completely wrong on ADA. You're not 100% compliant, which is what the law says. And you have not done what you and past general managers have stated concerning the disabled community and the union to try to get that together. The only way you could be 100% compliant is to have total automation, and we have not gotten there. Which means our operators are doing all of these different things. The statistics show that the stress on an operator is equivalent to a firefighter or a police officer heading in their 911 mode. We are not taking this seriously, and we know when our drivers are distracted, lives are costed. The general manager, unfortunately, didn't tell you the gentleman's name, our operator, Dale Allred, that passed away this last Sunday on the 19th on his layover in a toilet at the Rose Quarter. These are major problems that we need to look at. And guess what? They're right in line with what's driving our costs. So now we're going to take, with your fare increase, we're going to push people onto mass transit. The system currently cannot hold these people. And they cannot get quickly on and off the system to provide efficient service. So that means it's going to create more problems and create more stress on our operators, which is going to create more health problems, which is going to increase our health insurance. I will end on this note, sir. Mr. Chairman and the board, you do have a very difficult job. And I will continue to reach out to each and every one of you, because this format is absolutely ridiculous for me to try to solve my problems. This is, I get 3 minutes, I've repeatedly asked to be on the agenda, and it falls on deaf ears. I represent over 2,000 members at Trimet and 2 LIFT programs of over close to 500 people. And this is the amount of time that I have able to articulate and talk to each of you. It's ridiculous. The gentleman said previously, these should be your allies. We should be working collectively together. We are not. And we're sitting in the court system now because Trimet continues to break the law. And it's showing. And it's going to come back again. And it's going to be even more shortfalls. I'm envied.
Thank you.
So instead of using the resources properly, this organization used to be labor-friendly, is now anti-union, and is spending, and I hope this board goes and requests and looks at how much money has been spent on colored ads, on promotions, on websites, on information to be anti-union. It's unacceptable. It needs to stop, and I request your assistance. Thank you.